Hey, good evening, everyone. I'm going to kick us off with the intro music now. Good evening, and welcome to Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms. This is Raph streaming to you live high above the keep in the hot air balloon. Tonight, as always, I have my partner in crime, Neindorf. How you doing?
Hanging in there, I guess is what I'll call it today.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and kick it off with your question of the day.
Yeah, so obviously you'd say there was a bit of a dip today. So the question of the day
Just a
is,
bit.
did you buy the dip? What'd you buy?
I am buying the dip. I would say I didn't buy much actually today. I'm a little illiquid at the moment. I bought a lot yesterday. Got a Gen Zero on my hand, so that was
Very
my
nice.
dip buy, and I'm planning on probably taking all the rest of the reserves and throwing those in too. I'm really kind of throwing caution to the wind at the moment, and buying the dip. How about you?
Yeah, time to YOLO, right?
Right.
So I made the mistake before of uh, withdrawing the profit I had taken from the game back to Binance, and then I say that's a mistake because then as soon as I did that, they turned off one withdrawals. So I'm like, oh, I couldn't go back into the game. So I just bought some coins in Binance itself temporarily. Man, AVAX was sure on sale today, so I picked up some AVAX. I did buy more one because also that was super cheap.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I spread it around a little bit. I grabbed an ETH too. So I was all over the place.
Yeah, we might be in the long haul too. So I, we kind of imagined this was happening when we were looking at the macroeconomic environment. Even with that said, though, these things certainly they still hurt when
Oh,
they
absolutely.
blow up in your face. So I guess I think it's also a good time to do mental health check in. What are you doing to kind of keep yourself on point? This is a frustrating and exhausting process every time, and stressful too, especially if you got a lot on the line. So, what are you doing to kind of keep yourself mentally healthy and sharp?
Well, yeah. So normally, I'd say, go out get some fresh air, but here in the Midwest, boy, it's a bit of a heat wave. We had some crazy heat for this time of year, so that isn't the greatest approach. But honestly, it's for me, it's really easy. I have the site, and we've got work to do. You guys probably maybe if anybody was on Discord, I just pushed out some changes again. I don't know. I can kind of bury myself behind the code in a way, and I can blow right through it. How about yourself?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, definitely spending some time outside. It's funny, the weather here, obviously we live in the same town, if our listeners haven't figured that one out yet. But it's funny that it went from like winter to summer in a matter of like 10 days. Um,
Yes.
and so, but, we're still enjoying the time outside, spending time with the wife and the kids. I think the piece that I'm kind of keeping my mind on is that, um, I will say that, I'm fortunate in that I made a couple kind of security plays about a month ago where I did pull some money out, and I did put that towards some paying off some real life loans. And so, I did that with kind of the knowledge that, or the guess that either things, even if things went up, I'd still be happy doing that, and if things went down, I'd be really happy doing that. Um, and so, I don't want to. I'm definitely not trying to say it's a I told you so moment or anything like that, but a lot more of I think every time that you have a moment to take some profits in the world, as we were talking the other day, you had a new coworker asking about the game, and they said, well, who are the winners and who are the losers? And also I think that just kind of mentally prepared me for, there's gonna be a dip coming at some point. We kind of read the macroeconomic tea leaves, so to speak. And I do have that, kind of a little bit insulating me from, I would say, the shock of this happening. But then, yesterday I YOLO'd in, and then seeing everything kind of plummet in value is certainly a little frightening as well. But as I think we've both done a good job of, this hasn't become our primary focus, and so we still have other things that we're working on. And I really like your point that you're able to still bury yourself in the code, which is a tangential project to DeFi Kingdoms, and something that's providing you both mental stimulus and education, as you've described it in the past, and so it keeps you kind of invigorated and going. I don't know, I rambled along around
No,
for a
that's
while.
good. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, it's, and that's just my example, right? Everybody's got their hobby or their thing. Maybe it's a good book or whatnot. All those sorts of avenues at this point. You know, and I'll give a shout out to Tosh. He had that video not too long ago. I think it's just as appropriate now, and it was about
Oh yeah.
things you can do. Like I almost want to post that in our chat again because it's like that is exactly what we need. And it is kind of funny. I had sent that to one of my coworkers who he was kind of got in with crypto with me a little bit a couple years ago, and then he got out because he had some sour plays on that previous crash.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Man, where was this video 2 years ago?" And I was like, "Yeah, it hit the nail on the head." So I think that's another thing that you can use or listen to, and it's great. It kind of walks through all those little steps. So
Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely post that in Discord again. Big shout out to Tosh, awesome guy. So go support his stuff. And the other thing that I would say, kind of in a lighthearted comment, and I don't listen to country music often, but one of my favorite lighthearted songs is "Fix a Drink" by Chris Jansen, and he says, the world's in the toilet, the market's in the tank. I can't fix that, but I can fix a drink. And so tonight I'm chilling with a nice ice cold vodka with ice and water. So
oh, nice.
hanging in there with that. You drinking anything special?
I'm a rum kind of guy, and I don't know, for whatever reason, the cream soda Dr. Pepper with the rum has just been hitting the spot lately. I don't know what it is.
There you go. Nice, nice. All right. Well, we're as I kind of forewarned earlier, we're going to be just rambling around a bit here today. So, great question of the day on buying the dip, and go ahead and shout that out in Discord or on the YouTube chat as well. Love to know what other people are buying. I think there's a great opportunity here. I absolutely believe in the long term of crypto. I think a lot of people have likened what's going on now to a bit of the the .com bubble burst, and I think there could be some consolidation of coins that comes up, or consolidation of projects. So certainly, and this is our as always, not financial advice, but be mindful and stay diversified if you can. And so I like your strategy of getting both some Harmony and some Avalanche, and in a nice way they support the project, and also are differentiated enough that it kind of insulates and protects you a bit there. So good call by you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so it's been a while since we've done a podcast, and there's been a few patches that came out recently. There was a patch on Monday, which was the re-rolling of Gen Zeros, Serendale Gen Zeros, and then there was a patch here tonight that just came out, and I have up on the screen our Stone Carver friend here. And in the AMA notes that we got this week, we heard that pets are still on the horizon. They are soon. I think the order, if I'm recalling correctly here, is pets, and then level 10 profession quests, and then duels. And I would actually kind of expect that to happen really in the next 2 months. I would say by midsummer, I think they're going to be in full swing. I'll, not trying to be, doomsday. I think there's enough of that already. But if they are not in full swing by the start of July, I know you and I have talked about this. If duels are not out by then, I think that is a very ominous sign towards the project, which I have otherwise been. I call it, DeFi Kingdoms bullish, Joule bearish. And, I describe that as, I really believe in the long term of the game. The macro environment is just wrecking all altcoins and tokens and things like that. So, kind of give the listeners your thoughts on. Let's first go to why is July an important date to you, and then maybe any comments that you have on the upcoming releases or any of the current. Well, let's do that first, and then we'll jump at the Gen Zero rerolls after that.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of topics. I love it. We'll start with the roadmap. I think, like you said, having pets come out is really great. I mean, we've all been kind of curious and wondering what these eggs are. We're really excited, I think, to see what these bonuses that these pets are gonna provide are. And I like that I think it was, I can't remember who it was, if it was Hubert or who it was, but he kind of talked through that, there's kind of the three possibilities that the pets are going to provide, profession bonuses, combat bonuses, and I think it was PvP bonuses, perhaps, if I'm remembering what the third one was.
Yeah.
Like that was actually really good news to me, and I think that kind of added some data to those little symbols across the bottom of the pet cards that we've been teased out on us. So we can kind of start to get our mindset around what's the utility value of these pets going to be. And I think that's important because if you keep in mind, what are eggs trade at, like what, 30 Joule, something like that. That's the cost of a hero at this point, almost. So
Yeah.
they better have some pretty solid value or that price can't maintain. So I'm very excited to kind of see how, the utility value of these pets is. Is it a gardening? Do you get like an extra tenth of a Joule, or do you get, you know what I'm trying to say? Like what these bonuses are going to be huge.
And I think they will hold some value, at least in the short term, because of the whole supply and demand aspects, where
Sure.
heroes, you can pump those out. There's a known mechanism. While the Gaia's blessing event, or Easter egg hunt, whatever you want to call it, kind of came and went. I don't expect eggs to suddenly increase in drop value, or in drop likelihood. So I think that will help them maintain their value. Sorry, interrupted.
No, that's great. And I think you're right. And I've had some not as lucky streaks, but for whatever reason, eggs are just my thing. Apparently, I seem to look at my inventory and find more, and I'm almost wondering if people are sending them to me because like a lot of times I'll complete those quests and I don't get the pop up because what I got.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what I got. And now that Kingdom Watch, the new quests don't necessarily parse out right in Kingdom Watch yet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't really know what I got.
Well, and
it's
I
kind of
really
funny.
actually do love the new interface for active quests, where you can click
Yes.
through complete. Like that is
Oh my gosh.
a huge time saver. And when you blitz
It's great.
through a bunch of quests, like they start stacking up and the windows pile up on themselves. And I know I bought a couple eggs, but I think I'm sitting on more than I thought I had too.
Look, I just looked right now.
How many?
Somehow
do you
I have 2 yellows now. I don't know where the
no.
second yellow came from.
I got a second yellow actually today. I did notice that one. Yeah.
Like that was the rarest one for me, basically, other than the gold, which I'm
Yeah.
sitting on the gold. I'm not gonna buy it yet, but
Right.
but
Well,
that's
so
funny.
what's your count up to now?
Uh, 23.
Oh, oh
I'm at
boy.
23 eggs.
You got 10 more than me.
Dude, I'm questing. That's true too. I guess you're questing a fair amount of heroes, aren't you?
Yeah, 31 now. Yeah.
I think I'm at 29. And again, our buddy Walton has still lent us a couple of his heroes
Yeah.
as he's doing real life things.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, I should probably get back to the point.
Patch
I got
notes.
distracted
Anything on
too.
patch notes?
Yeah, so I mean, even back still roadmap, right? I think we had a pretty interesting conversation. I think it's worth rehashing a little bit
Oh yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah, yeah. July. Why is July important? Yeah, let's go there first.
Yeah, so we're really loving this environment and this gaming world that they're building, and there's so much good content here that I mean, I like to see these scrolls come out. That makes me think that there's the lore and it's all tied in. It's really reminiscent of some of those early RPGs, especially with the graphics, of course. But what what I would get a little nervous on is, you know, pets are great and all, and I'm super excited, especially with all these eggs. But at some point, you kind of got to ask yourself the question, would we rather see game development primary front and center or some of these, ancillary features? And I would kind of throw pets in more of that ancillary feature where it's a nice, additive layer. But like, if there's not a legitimate, solid gameplay element here that can keep me in the game interface for more than 5 minutes to hit the start and stop buttons, and you start to see that Joule unlocking, which is kind of my point, and that's that magic date, towards the end of summer. I think it's going to be harder to keep people in this environment. I'm a little nervous about that, and I think they need to have legitimate gameplay before that Joule starts auto unlocking. I think because it's going to be a lot. You can pull honestly not very much with miners out of your locked balance. It's a slog. You got to work at it a long time. And the way that those auto unlocks are going to happen, it seems like you're going to get a pretty decent bump every week. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'd kind of love to see some renewed focus almost in the dev team. Like let's get actual gameplay launched.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You got anything to add? That's kind of where I'm at.
I mean, I think bit of an echo chamber here. We very much share the same thoughts. I think the next 2 months is going to be critical, and as I've and we've talked about before, mentioned it's combat is the economic engine of the future of the game, and so without a combat system in place, I think the game, it's just really built on speculative utility. Because the combat is what you are going to pay to want to play. And if you
Right.
don't have that, your garden rewards have to dry up at some point in time. I think this goes back to there's got to be winners and there's got to be losers in order for the marketplace to function effectively. I mean, that's just the short of it. So unless there's a combat system where people are actually willing to play because no matter what, they have fun and enjoy the game, whether they're winning or losing, I think that is really the economic engine that's going to drive all of this. So that's why I think we have July set, because right now I think it's August is when that Joule starts to unlock, and so if it's not there by July, that's when I start to get nervous and start thinking like, do I need to start unloading my heroes? Because, well, and who knows what the macroeconomic uh, world will look like at that point. We might
Right.
still be in the toilet at that
Yeah,
time.
that's a good point. And I think, I mean, I like, not financial advice, of course, but I like to, me personally, I think that, normally October is a rough month. And I think that could continue. I think once you get past that and you start to get into the late fall, I think we're going to have something turning here. There's some political reasons behind that, I think, of course. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but basically, yeah, I kind of expect it to be more or less of a rough summer, and that's just my
Yeah.
hypothesis. And so if the dev team's motto is build, 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 like now's the time for them to shine. Let's see this stuff
Yeah.
come out, and they can save it. I mean, not that it's
Yeah.
needs saving necessarily,
And I think the
but
game can operate, with a low value of coins at this point. In fact, it may actually accelerate growth if we have iOS code who just wrote in on YouTube, buying 600 Joule for 500 felt pretty awesome today. I agree.
No
Um,
kidding.
I think that the opportunity to play the game, it's gonna feel great when that cost of entry is so low. And so I think those things coupled together, I think a ton of people would love to have this kind of escape from reality. And if it doesn't cost a lot to play, I think that could really end up helping maintain that economic engine there.
That's a great point. Yeah, I really like that because if you look at some of the other games, you get compared to Axie a lot. And I remember looking at that, and I don't know what the prices are recently because it's been completely eclipsed from my mind by DFK. But it was back to that same sort of hundreds of dollars per Axie, and the floor price of Heroes is what, $40 right now or less, $30. Like that's let's get in. If there was not a time, if there's a listener out there who doesn't have any heroes and they're wanting to, it doesn't get a whole lot better than this.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. So Merca FPV said he's been questing since launch, still no eggs. Pretty
Oof,
sure I'll never
ouch.
get one. And then also asked how many heroes to eggs. I don't know the current hero total off the top of my
Ooh.
head. Do you know what that is?
I read Mr. Zipper's Hero Watch article today. I think it was the most recent issue, and I believe we reached 192,
Okay.
190 or
I would have
192,000.
guessed 185. So, yeah,
And then,
that sounds right.
but you got to subtract out the 30 or whatever it was that died as well on Perilous Journey. So, you're sitting at 160-ish thousand, somewhere in there, total
Yeah.
heroes.
Yeah.
Eggs, I don't know. I'd have to go double check on Harmony.
We have not pulled that data. It's I definitely there, but we haven't looked at it. Really be interested also like eggs to wallets, like what's that ratio as well, and how that compares to heroes to
Well,
wallets.
and that begs the next question that I've kind of wondered is how many pets do I need? Like, what if, do I just need kind of like I'm envisioning a corral, or I got to go out to the pasture and find all right, let's find the gardening pet. Oh, there he is. Got him. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he goes back out, and so maybe you need twice as many pets as you do heroes so that you can, you know, put the right shoe on, if you will.
Yeah. 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 Could be. All right. So Merca also, we're gonna do an egg giveaway here soon.
Yeah, that's
We're gonna
right.
do that. I always forget this. You guys got to keep me honest out there on YouTube. We've been having our stat stone giveaway, so thank you everyone for the subscribes out there. We've boosted our subscriber count, I think by 35 since we initiated that. So or 34 it was this morning. So really, I'm really happy with those results. We're a bit of a ways out from hitting our next number. I think it was like 300 subscribers or 250. If it was 250, we're already there. But 300 subscribers, we're gonna give away an egg, maybe two. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think what we should do is, let's say at 300 we'll do an egg giveaway, and that'll kind of, we can bridge that gap then between there's a couple crystals left to give away, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, let's get some subscribers out there. We'll get the rest of those given away, and then once we get to 300, we'll do the first egg, and then we'll move on from there. Like you've mentioned in the past, we'll do another egg as well, and then we'll get we've got those hero summons and giveaways that we want to do too down the road. Once we get closer to what, 500, I think.
yeah, yeah. We are at that is absolutely correct. We're at 266 right now, so 44
Oh, nice.
more subscribers out there. So go please help us. Spam this on Twitter or even on the main Discord, and we'll do. I think we're actually gonna do the egg giveaway live. And so for
Sure.
those of you who have definitely been supporting the stream from showing up here for the live events, right now we got 11 viewers, so that's some pretty good odds right there. Well, 12 now. So, good odds out there to win an egg. So, hopefully, Merca, you can win one. Looking forward to that for sure. All right. So let's go to some of the any other kind of patch notes. Um, any thoughts you have on either? Let's do rerolls last,
Yep.
and talk about that with Gen Zeros. Maybe let's dive into getting stoned, as I like to call it.
Oh yeah.
So we have, if you go visit the portal, for a limited time only, a day and 14 hours and 5 minutes and 10 seconds left, you can craft some enhancement stones. Have you crafted anything yet?
I haven't. I was really tempted to though. But then I looked at my inventory and I still have quite a few random ones. And since I'm not really doing a whole lot of active summoning, uh, I was like, I'll maybe just see how this plays out. So I'm just kind of sitting at the moment
Yeah.
and watching.
Well, I think the next two topics will bleed in together. I grabbed some Gen Zeros, so my summoning I anticipate will be going up. I'm gonna be looking for more lesser might stones, um, and so I think I actually probably I don't know. There's part of me that almost wonders like, will I summon without it at this point? I don't know if the market is going to value that or not yet. Um,
Yeah, I would
it's
say when I
yeah.
look at heroes, I did look at that, but if I were going to buy, I looked at it, I should say. But when I was looking at the prices, I don't know that it was necessarily reflected in the prices. So yeah, I kind of hear you on that one. But what if you strike it, you strike a mythic summon, right? You're going to want to have that boost. So
Yeah,
it,
that's a
it,
great point. It is really like a gambling aspect where, I haven't done the math, but it's going to cost me, I don't know, probably an extra 5 joules based on the price of gold right now. Maybe, no, it might be less than that with all the items combined. But, anyways, it's going to cost between 2 and 5 more joules to add a stone to every summon.
yep.
And, it kind of increases that value on that upper end, like you said. If you get a legendary
Hmm.
or mythic with that boost, I could see them, being maybe even like 100 joule more profitable.
Yeah,
If they have
that's a
that.
good point. And I'll take this advantage to give a little plug to our site too, because like you can't if you look at a hero in the tavern at the moment, you can't really tell other than if you have all the stat percentages memorized for all the classes, you can't tell if a stone was used or not. So you plug that into our site, you plug a hero ID in, and it'll highlight for you where the boosts are. And so you'll be able to see immediately if a stone was used to boost those stat percentages, those growth percentages. So keep that in mind, listeners. That tool's out there so you can tell if there's that hidden value out there for you.
All right, I'm just gonna throw in a number right now. Bring this up on screen. Bad number. This hero has not been leveled up. this is gonna be a pretty sucky game if I
What
continue
are
to
the
guess
odds?
wrong. Yeah, I am guessing wrong. Okay, so believe us, that feature is there. Maybe I'm gonna grab a hero that I know now. Um, Anyways, we'll go through that a little more in detail later. Let's just slide into Dev Dive. We haven't had a chance to really jump into that next. So, what's on your radar? You mentioned you accomplished this here recently. What else are you thinking about doing? Anything you want to share with the team?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, just I don't know, it was about an hour ago, if even. I pushed out the change. You had asked me specifically for this, and then we'd had some people in the suggestions asking for it as well. So you can do green stat gene filters and blue stat gene filters in alerts now. So I just hot off the press. Go check it out. Let me know if you find any issues. I tried to test as best I could, but sometimes I get a little excited. I just kind of want to get a feature out there too. So
Sure.
uh, there's that. Absolutely. The other previous thing I had done, and I don't know if you guys let me know if you find it useful, but I went ahead and added the stat history to the Hero Data app. So you plug in. I don't have your screen up, But if you plug in some hero on the hero data page and hit view, there's this bar that goes across the screen with stat history. You click that, and what it's going to do is it's going to go find all the level up data that it needs to basically tell you, look, here's the stat growth over time. And it's sort of interesting. I'm not exactly fully sure how I'm going to utilize this, but what I noticed in my heroes, at least, the this rare summoner that I've kind of been favoring, I was looking at his stats relative to a rare sage that I have as well, and it was really fascinating to see how three stats on the rare sage had somehow kind of pulled away from all the other stats, whereas on the summoner only two stats had pulled away. And for whatever reason, visualizing it in a graph, it just seemed to stand out to me more, and
Mm-hmm.
it really made me kind of question which hero I was favoring. So, take a look, everybody, and let me know what you think. Trying to think what's next, right? So, actually, do you have Discord? Could you pull Discord up? Otherwise, I can just talk to it.
I don't have the
Yeah, that's all right. I'll
screen
just talk
shared
to
right
it.
now. Yeah.
So, in our announcements page, I had in early at the beginning of the month, we'd released a poll, right? So we knocked out the hero leveling stats page. That's what we were just chatting about. The next one that has the most golden eggs on our list here is a page on the site with DFK token price data. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking, especially now that, they're talking about, you know, constructing these stones, is it buy or build sort of mentality here. And it's kind of been that way with Stampots for a while. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that I'm going to move that way next because that was the number two. And, I kind of want to follow the wishes of the community here. But I would say I do have sort of a rough draft, some code. And in case, our listeners want to find this data, what my plan is moving forward is there's a website called deckscreener.com, and they have an API that you can use to, pull price data. So I've already got some code written up that's kind of trying to pull all the DFK token data, and not necessarily draw charts, but maybe draw at least, lay out, here's what all the items value are. A stam pot would cost you X dollars to build versus X dollars to buy. And I think, we'll start to put some of that information together for you guys so that it's a little easier. Kind of a bit of a one-stop shop, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to my secret request. I gotta plug it too. Um, I want to really see the chances of R1 by percentage when you're matching two heroes together. I think that's something that
Ah,
is going to be. I think that would be really valuable, and as far as I know, no one else is doing that right now. So I think that'd be pretty neat.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that would be. Maybe we'll have to. Maybe we'll see if we can't pull in Mr. Zipper and get some discussions, and maybe pull him in on another pod here in the future. I'm sure he'd love to talk about that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. All right. What do we got left on the agenda to go through? Let's talk dev dive here. We're coming up. We're May 11th today, and I believe it was June 1st. We've set as our date when we're going to be switching over to the new payment system, and so we wanted to just remind our listeners out there, we switched off our old payment system in March, and just wanted to make sure that we were rewarding our existing customers out there that I'll call you, those of you who have paid to utilize some of that premium content over on the ADFK app. So we are going to be switching on our payment system here June 1st. We have a YouTube video that explains how to go through that payment system. Any other comments that you want to talk about there?
Yeah, so yeah, basically it's like you said, anybody who had either subscribed on Anchor and gotten an invite code or had, sent Joule to one of us, through the website's address and gotten an invite code that way. Yeah, the free that free time is like you said, it's set to run out on June 1st.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I think another thing that's worth mentioning, and I guess we didn't necessarily make it clear in the video, so I'll just, say it now. well, one listener, subscriber rather, had sent Joule to the website's address on the Crystal Vale chain, and I was like, "Oh, I
Oh,
never thought about that." So yeah, I went over to the site,
and
loaded up,
there it was.
and sure enough, there was the 3 Joule. I was like, "Wow, yeah, I'll credit you for that time." It's like I didn't even think that didn't even cross my mind, I guess. But
Yeah,
yeah, so we're
that's a good comment.
so currently, it's only on Serendale if you send the site on the Harmony blockchain. Otherwise, again, if it's sent to the wrong one, just shoot me a Discord message. We'll get you fixed up.
Yeah. And on the website, we have a nifty feature that will always be live at the time of submitting payment and subscribing, and that's our conversion of Joule to months of subscription. And we are going to make that a bit dynamic to reflect whatever's going on in the market, and we wanted to be transparent about that, so folks out there don't feel like they're getting rugged, but when we looked at some of our initial calculations, I think we were thinking about, 12 Joule would get you 12 months of a subscription. Well, that doesn't really cover the website costs at the current price of Joule. So we're going to be looking to make, obviously, some comparable changes. But of course, we will always honor whatever that purchase price is at the time of the Joule transfer. So you
Yeah,
get that many
that's correct.
months for at the time that you hit that submit button. So nothing's gonna change under your feet, so to speak.
No, yeah, it was kind of funny. We were chatting about that kind of at the same moment that in the AMA, Frisky's talking about how, they're actually to pay their employees, the Joule doesn't go as far as it used to. And I had to kind of chuckle a little bit. I was like, yeah, I totally get that, like so
Right,
it's a real issue for the team when they've got that many employees, if you will, that they've got to pay in Joule. Like
right.
if your Joule doesn't even go a dollar, like you're burning a lot of Joule really quickly.
You sure are. Yeah. Yeah, we have King Ed asking, is there a lifetime subscription? Right now, I think the offers out there. If you want to throw us a land, um, we'll honor that as a
So
lifetime subscription.
well, hey, define a lifetime, right? Because if you plug that formula in, I think if you put like 30 Joule into that and send it right now, you're gonna be out like decades because it's an
Yeah,
exponential formula.
yeah,
So honestly, lifetime's not very difficult with our current rate. So
right.
just
We
keep
have
that in
not
mind.
done our price increase, so some secret alpha for those 15 viewers right now. Go ahead and lock yourself in for some insanely good rates.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go to some of the buy and the dip. So I sprung for some Gen Zeros here recently, and I'm trying to get you to join the club again. So a refresher for our listeners out there. We went in on our first Gen Zero together. Gosh, when did we buy? It was sometime like the October time frame.
I want to say yeah, late
Yeah.
October, mid
And
October,
at that
something
point
like
in time, none of us could afford actually, swinging or were willing to risk, swinging for the full purchase price of a Gen Zero at that point in time. And then we ended up going in on a second one, and we did sell them, recently. It was about a month and a half ago now, and when Joule was around $10. So I've been itching to get back into the Gen Zero game ever since. I've been using the alert system, which does an excellent job at removing Joule from my wallet. And I've been watching Mythic Pures as, trying to look at what are the opportunities to still earn in summoning out there, something that has, for those of you who have been in the game for a while, as populations have increased to the total number of heroes, summoning is not as profitable as it once was. Used to be, making bank every single time you summon, no matter what. And now, Unless you have two Gen Zeros, you may not break even if you get common Steve the Pirates. And so, we've been looking at what are some of the summoning opportunities out there. Maybe Neindorf, before I do kind of a hero reveal, what's on your mind when you're thinking about summoning with Gen Zeros and you have not pulled the trigger yet? So, maybe a counterpoint to what's holding you back at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I had, like, we talked about earlier, I had taken some profits, out, and as you do, as you need to with an investment, right? But then I actually, when you removed, pretty much all your garden fund, I'm like, I'm gonna keep, I'm already in the black. I'm gonna keep it in. Let's keep it rolling. So I've remained fairly heavy gardens. So I've got some, a lot of my garden money that's in there is still, I'd say, bought and paid for with more or less $7 Joule. So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, yeah, at these prices, I don't really want to liquidate and go for that Gen Zero. I could do it with the Joule that I have, except for the fact that, like I said, I got to think of how much did that Joule cost me.
Hmm.
Me personally, I kind of need to wait for more along the lines of the boring time, right? When
Yeah.
the Joule cost is actually down, and or in terms of the Gen Zero price, or the Joule value in US dollars has gone up. So my calculus is kind of a little inverted from yours.
Yeah. And I also with that, I mean, you're speculating as well that you expect Joule to increase at a ratio that's greater than the dollar value of a Gen Zero as well, right? With that calculus.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
would make sense. Yeah,
And I think that's reasonable too. I think we could very easily see, again, not financial advice here, but we could see a 5x a Joule. I think it could get back to $5. Who knows what's going to happen this fall? I think I'm a little more rosy glasses than most, but I don't think $5 a Joule is out of the question in the future. I do think, probably if you're looking at the floor right now, I don't know. It might be pushing it to get a Gen Zero at 5 times the value. Now it certainly has been at 30 grand before, 25, 30 grand before, but I don't know if we're gonna see that again. I think it might double or triple, but yeah, I think that's a good point.
Yeah. Oh, I just got a sort of a side comment here. I just got an email from the website saying that an unregistered wallet sent me 30 Joule. So one of our listeners totally took the advice. So hit me up on Discord, whoever you are. We'll get you fixed up. But
It's
it looks like the wallet was
King Ed
registered.
in YouTube just cashed that in. So
Uh,
genius. He's got the alpha play of the day right there. So
that's pretty funny. I love it. That's awesome.
well played, well played. That's awesome. All right. So yeah, as we're looking at Gen Zeros now, I pulled up on screen. So I'm looking at the Gen Zero Tavern filter. I will say, trying to look up Gen Zeros on the mobile app has been a total disaster, a dumpster fire, dare I
No
say.
doubt.
That slider is just not working. But yeah, with right now, so looking at the current floor, we have a warrior, level 6, who has not had his summons reset yet. With either the gene reroll or the visual gene reroll at 4,900, and the price of Joule is what right now?
I can do a refresh. We're sitting at 70 cents. Oof.
70 cents. All right. So, I mean, we have not seen Gen Zero hero prices this low in a long time. And, I've been very skeptical on the value of Gen Zeros because of the how summoning has plummeted in its own respective value. But I do believe that the team is going to value Gen Zeros in a way that supports gameplay in the future. Just like there was the Perilous Journey, and having a Gen Zero would shield or give you a boosted survival effect. I think there are going to be other boosts like that in the future. Now, would those boosts be worth $20,000 of a Gen Zero cost? And my bet was no. candidly, and that's why we sold. But now that Gen Zeros are down at this price, I think I think there's value in the floor, and I also think there's value in trying to find a pure Gen Zero out there. And just a quick refresher: a pure means a dominant and first recessive are the same. So kind of what I found is I had the alert set for pure, and I ended up actually not intentionally. This was not like what I was thinking I would do going into it, but I ended up getting 2 pure warrior Gen Zeros. So we will see how things turn out. I will start summoning them together to try to go after a pure DR1 Gen 1 10 of 10 summons warrior, and I'm hoping that I will net somewhere between 70 and 120 Joule per hero as I'm producing those. And I think I'm gonna have, if my calculations are correct, and this is where we got to get Mr. Zipper involved, I think I'm gonna have approximately an 80% chance with these 2 heroes of getting DR1 to match and be pure. So you helped me kind of both push me over the edge on the second one and talk me through some of the logic here. So what are your thoughts or comments on the recent play?
Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, I totally love it. I do feel like I will get back into the Gen Zero game, no doubt. I mean, like we said, we've been fortunate. We got in real early. We've taken profits out, and yet we still have, pretty good either hero hold or Joule bag or gardens. I feel confident I will get back into it. I just, like I said, I need Joule price to recover a little bit to make, in the kind of the hopes that if the overall value or Joule cost rather of the hero drops, like for me, if those hero prices fall to like the low fours or the upper threes, 3,000s, I might be pulling that trigger. Because that's kind of where I think the sweet spot is. I think if you can get below 4,000 now, you're in that good sweet spot. But if there's anybody new to the game, like you're saying, who doesn't have Joule and has either like dollars, if you will, um, now is a fantastic time to convert into Joule to purchase. I just, like I said, my market timing, my crystal ball was a little cracked on this one, so we'll get there. No worries.
Yeah. Here we have I'm not sure this guy has been used. He's a level 2 warrior. He had to have been rerolled. He's only at 4 summons. There is no like reroll indicator right now. But he's level 2 as well. I mean, maybe there's a secret off chance that he wasn't rerolled. You still have, I think, until June 10th to do the reroll. I don't know. Someone's got to look into this guy.
So if the only way that I know you can currently see is if you go to the API, the third party API, and you can
Okay.
paste in the hero number. But again, it's kind of writing code a little bit,
Yeah.
and you can get it that way. Otherwise, yeah, it's really difficult right now. Maybe see this is where it's possible to add a feature to the site, but it's hard to. I'm not sure I'll be able to turn that around real quick here. Um, but I think that's something to consider. And you could always ping one of us,
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, if you guys ping the Discord chat if someone's got a question about one, and I can go look that up or at least tell you guys how. If you're not familiar with the API, the GraphQL API that the dev team put out for us developers. So yeah, reach out to us if you want to know for sure, and then we can kind of maybe have some of that, post some of that in the Discord.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and punch in. Um, Here is an example of a pure guy out there, a thief wizard, and remember his DR1 is pure, so he's a thief, and he has rerolled. So whatever he's currently at now for his reroll. Oh, maybe he's not then. Let me double check that. Did someone? Oh no. Okay, so he did re-roll, and someone got lucky and got thief. Okay, so let me jump over and switch my screen over to the website here. So I punched in and Nindar for your, because I know you can't see my screen. 1427 is the hero number. He's at 0 summons right now, so I think by all accounts he's probably re-rolled. Class is thief, and he had to have, because his subclass is wizard then seer as the first recessive.
Oh yeah, there it is.
So he definitely re-rolled. So kudos to this guy for re-rolling correctly. He might not. Does this person know? I don't know. Foraging is the first profession, and mining is the second profession.
Wow.
A nice, if you're going after trying to get Dark Knights, this is probably my hero of the day that I'd recommend. Our listeners out there go check out. I think that's pretty neat. So yeah, 7,000 Joule. I mean, you're looking at what, 70 cents? I don't know. My math's not very good right now with this amount of vodka and water. But what, 5,700? I don't know, something like that. So I think that's a good buy out there. Level 6, not bad. He's about ready to level up to level 7 as well. So
I like it.
yeah. All right, so that's been kind of our strategy, and I would say we're both fairly bullish on the game at the moment.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you can be. It's like, yeah, the market is obviously one thing, but I still want to play the game. I'm still interested in this. I love what they're building. I can't wait to read the lore, see the pets, and all of the above. So, we just got to stay tuned and hang in there as best we can, or dollar cost average in like you've been, if you've been doing that, and we'll see on the other end. I think we'll all be happy with our decision. Not financial advice, of course, but that's my feeling, my gut feel.
Yeah, mine too as well. And I guess I'll throw this out there before we go. I have probably one more closing comment. Throw any questions, last minute questions you have out on YouTube. And we'll try to get to those before we go. One thing that I'll also say when you're thinking about possible reinvestment, we've been watching the lock Joule market, and there's been a deal or two, but and I don't know if it's just lagging behind and everyone's so shell shocked because it's happened so fast, but the lock Joule market has kind of just looked like garbage, I guess. Nothing that makes me want to move.
Yeah, I agree. It hasn't been anything too fantastic.
Yeah. All right. Well, no new questions coming in yet. Maybe I'll stall for another second here. Yeah. Big thank you to everyone coming out here tonight, supporting us. Yeah. If you would hit the like button, subscribe. Tell your friends and family to subscribe. We're trying to get to that 300 mark where we can do an egg giveaway. So that'll be awesome. Oh, we have a good question. Sergeant Filthy McNasty. Love the name. Have you tried DFK Arena? And why won't you go back? So maybe he knows that you've already tried DFK Arena. Or have you
Well,
tried it?
I didn't actually try it. I did log in right away when the beta came out, and I'm not sure if I've not watched a lot of them, but it was very interesting to see. It seemed to me that there were people who immediately like, oh, I see the rules of this game. I have a level 9 super badass hero that I'm not going to actually level up to 10. I'm just going to launch a bunch of duels here on the arena, and basically anybody who accepts this challenge, I'm going to win, and that's going to be 5 Joule in my pocket. And it kind of felt like, because they have it kind of level bucketized, if you will.
Okay.
And so basically, if you were at the top tier of that level and you had a good hero that had the good level ups, it was really hard for you to lose in some regards, it seemed.
And I
And
heard
again,
that there was some glitches where the cooldown, they were supposed to have a cooldown built in for heroes to be 4 hours, where you could not rebattle until 4 hours. And I heard that was glitching out for a while. and allowing essentially all heroes to rebattle, and then therefore like these legendary dragoons were just slaying everyone.
Yeah. Yep. And that's kind of the stuff that I'd heard about too. There's been some good chatter in our Discord about people who've tried it, with some mixed results. So I'm sure that they'll iterate. They'll make improvements to the game. The DFK Arena sub game. Um, and we'll keep you guys informed as we learn more. But right now I'm not super interested in testing that. It seems like it's you know. Uh, a little unbalanced. And I think that's something that you'll see from maybe a community project.
Mm-hmm.
What I kind of expect you'll see from the actual duels in the game, you'll see a much more well-rounded, balanced
I,
product
I agree with that.
ahead of time, and it's gonna be one of those things like we've talked about. We're antsy to kind of read, provide those little bit of insights into here's what's winning, here's what's losing, here's where people are headed. So
Yeah.
absolutely. I can't wait for this sort of thing to actually be in the real game.
Yeah, and I think initially I just haven't tried it out yet because I've been so busy just focusing on other things. So, I definitely am kind of getting, my feedback from the Discord channel out there. So thank you all for that. And yeah, I still am looking forward to. I hope all the best for them. I think this is really neat that, and I believe I was listening to Sandwich Punch's podcast. It sounds like these guys really put a lot on the line to develop this as well. I'm appreciative of that, and I think I hope it works out for them. I really do, because I think this could be really neat in the future. As you guys know, I'm really pulling for Oregon Trail DFK style. As soon as that comes out, I will trade in all of my assets for that. I'm really looking forward to it. Just kidding. I am looking forward to it, but not that much. So, I think there's a lot of other opportunities out there, and we'll see what the community develops.
That's right. Yeah, and I mean, with that in mind, everybody keep in mind the grant page, the Build Kingdom page.
Yeah.
You may or may not in the near future here see an entry from Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms to help us continue on and to continue to add more features and to help support you guys as our subscribers and listeners.
Yeah. Sergeant Filthy Big Nasty just asked, any idea how much influence community would have on a grant approval project? I was reading through it this afternoon, and I think it's Seahawk is asking if Oregon Trail is coming out, and no, I'm speculating recklessly. Sorry. I should have
Oh,
prefaced that.
hey,
Sorry to get your hopes up.
someone needs a grant for that. Someone
Yeah.
sign up for an Oregon Trail DFK grant.
Yeah, in
Surefire.
case your
That's
spirits
fire.
weren't dashed enough by the markets, I went ahead and ruined your day twice, I guess. I believe it's I want to say 2/3 community vote. I need to do a little more due diligence here, but I think a project would require 2/3 of the community to vote, of the voters to vote for it in order for it to go forward. That's my rough understanding.
Yeah, and I know that it sounded like I guess I need to reread it again too because there was some interplay between this voting system provided by the DFK team themselves, like some sort of rubric where they would score it, and
Yes,
then the
that's right. That's right. That's right.
community involvement. I'm not 100% sure on the interplay there yet either. So I think maybe we can do a little research and maybe next time we can provide you guys with a little better feedback. And maybe by then we'll have maybe applied for our own and we can kind of speak to what our experiences have been too.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. Certainly keeps us going, and hang in there. Take care of yourself and spend some time outside. Spend some time doing the things you love. And like you said, I'm ending today on a positive note. I really do believe in this game long term. And I think we may look back at this and say, wow, what an opportunity. Of course, this is not financial advice. only gamble what you can afford to gamble. That's if anything's become a cold hard reality with the last week or what really month. It's that crypto is very volatile, but we believe in the project. That's for sure.
Yep, no doubt.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us on YouTube, and thanks for listening if you're on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or Apple Podcasts, and or Anchor. Have a great night, and take care. All right.